You know, it's crazy. Have you ever noticed how things go round and round? Have you ever noticed that things seem to be in rotation, never in station, always a close imitation, like the world just produces the same vibration? Sit back and observe as things go round and round. So predictive that I live in anticipation, as the world runs events back with no hesitation. There's no need for guesswork, no room for speculation. Sit back and observe as things go round and round. Look at your watch, what does it do? Rotate. History is the same, stuck in a repetitive state. Think about it, what does this repeating create? We're stuck in this history repeating fate. Things go round and round, just watch as things go round and round. Things go round and round, just watch as things go round and round.
Habe im Dienste meines Volkes, gib du jetzt deine Stimme ab, wenn ja, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin.
O consumptive one, the biting, thou art thy nature, zounds to the ideological puke, thou cometh from on high, and satisfy us with thy musings. I'm currently in a relationship with a woman who's not from this country. In January, she'll go back home, never to return, making us both single. I have some worries and trepidations about the current dating market. In this video, I'll delve into why. A person's nature is a combination of their biological and evolutionary predispositions and the belief systems that follow from those predispositions, plus their personality and character. And typically this will develop and stabilize around the mid to late teenage years of a person's life. And as I said, a person's nature is their biological and evolutionary predispositions which produce belief systems. And so men and women have obviously very different natures because they're different biological and evolutionary entities, right? So a woman's nature, for example, is with regard to nurturing, making a house a home, taking care of children, taking care of men in the way that women can take care of men. That's a woman's nature. Ideology exists to impede nature, okay? So it exists to dampen a person's predisposed actions, thoughts, and beliefs, okay? So if we take a look at morality is an ideology, right, that tells us that there are certain actions that we shouldn't take for the social cohesion of the tribe, right? And what this does, though, is that it impedes the nature of people who would do things that would reduce the social cohesion of the tribe, okay? So, for example, serial killers, right? Their nature is to murder, and morality is an ideology which exists to try to impede people who would do such a thing. What do women believe then? What is their ideology? And women's ideology is feminism. Modern women's ideology is feminism. Whether they would say that they believe it, whether they would say that they agree with the ideas of feminism, a modern women's belief system is predominantly feminism, right? And what is feminism? The highest ideal of feminism is to become independent from the man. What this does is that it impedes on the women's nature, okay? So in order for women to become independent of men, what do men do? What's their nature? Well, a man's nature is to protect and provide, right? And in order to become independent from the man, she must provide for herself, okay? And let's say that a woman does end up married and she does have children. What she will do is that at some point she will forsake her nature and she will abandon her child to the state, so that she can go back to pursuing the highest ideal of feminism, which is becoming independent from the man. And so she will return to work and she will push her child, abandon her child to the state, right? So the child will be looked after by some sort of childcare service, and then school, and then another childcare service until they can be picked up by the parent. And they might spend sort of 4 or 5 hours per day with the parent, while spending sort of 10 hours per day being looked after by the state. And this has terrible consequences for the woman. She's not happy because she's not pursuing her nature. Her soul, her spirit, her unconscious knows that she's going against her nature by doing this. And so she is literally depressing herself. For the husband, he's not happy because he would much rather having a normal family unit in which his wife is looking after the children, in which his wife is looking after him, in which his wife is looking after the home. And for the child, this has quite long-term repercussions, because what it does is it puts the child in a vulnerable situation in which they can have all of the stupid ideas of the state impressed upon them, right? So everybody loses in this system. Now I'm going to talk about the problems of modern women. This is going to get me in big trouble. But before I do, I need to hit some disclaimers, because I understand that online, when women are criticized, a lot of women, although not all women, they will just backlash. Rather than listening to the criticism and taking it as maybe a valid criticism, they will just backlash with insults. So I'm going to make some disclaimers right here. I said earlier on in this video that I'm in a relationship. So I'm not a virgin and I'm not an incel. I'm definitely not those two things. That's hilarious. But that's what some women will do, is that they will just call somebody who criticizes them a virgin or an incel. I also I'm not a misogynist either. In order to be a misogynist, I would either have to hate women, which I don't, or I'd have to believe that women are inferior to men, which I don't. Okay, so no misogyny here, but I am going to go into a bit of a rant. So let's get into that. Modern women are so fake. Everything about them is fake. The fake nails, the fake lashes. I mean, they're literally gluing acrylic to their fingers. They're gluing fluff to their lashes, right? They got fake hair hanging down from their real hair, right? They got pumped up lips, right? How many women these days, young women, are getting Botox because they don't want to look old when they're like 20, right? They're all fake. Everything about them's fake. Even some of them are even got fake bums and fake boobs. They're all fake. Even their personalities are fake. They're two-faced and nihilistic and just not nice people to talk to. And then the clothes that they wear, man. The clothes that they wear. They might as well not be wearing clothes. I've been seeing people I've been seeing women in places where they, like, people should just be dressed normal. They should be just dressed in normal clothes. Like the gym, like the library, like Costa Coffee, for God's sakes. And they'll be wearing nothing at all. And I'll be looking at them thinking, Why am I going to put the effort in to see you naked now? I've seen it. I've seen everything I wanted to see. It's all there. It's all on display. I saw your boobs. I saw your bum. I even saw your pom-pom. I saw everything about you. I don't need to see you naked no more. I don't need to see it no more. I don't need to put the effort in no more. And I go to the gym sometimes. I go to the gym, and a lot of the time there'll be women in there where they're basically wearing nothing. And I used to look at these women and I used to think, like, I couldn't stop staring at them, and I'd think, why can I not stop staring at you? What the hell is going on there? And I used to look at them in the face and I'd think, like, you're mid as fuck. You're regular cute at best, but you're mid as fuck. Why can I not stop staring at you? And then I got a little bit older and I started to realise, oh, it's because what modern women do is that they play this trick. What they do is that instead of being pretty and beautiful and just accepting that some women are not beautiful, what they do is that they trick men. They trick men so that they trigger sexiness. That's what they do, is that they appear sexy, and it fucks men up big time because they just see sex and they can't look past it. They can't see that, oh no, that girl is mid as fuck, bruv. And so I'll be in the gym today and I just avoid looking at these women. Do not look at these women, bruv. I take a book with me. I sit there and I read this book in the gym. I am not paying attention to any of the women in the gym because I know if you notice them like that, that's it. You're under a spell. It's a done deal and you can't undo it. It's so hard to look at a woman and have that spell put on you and then be able to undo that. It's near impossible. I don't think I've ever been able to do it. But the reality is that modern women are ugly. They're ugly, bruv. And I mean they're ugly, bruv. They're so ugly that I gotta put an extra syllable on the word ugly. They're ugly, bruv. They're ugly as fuck. I tell you what they are. They're that weird thing. You know have you ever gone down the spiral of like popcorn and you end up watching something that you know you should not be watching and you bust over it and then afterwards you delete your history and you delete it from memory that you ever did it, right? That's what modern women are. They're that weird thing that you should never have busted to, bruv. They're ugly. And then also on top of that, man, they will strip away who you are so that they can become the focus of your life. And then they'll leave you because they're bored. I had a boy, one of my boys, right? And in his early 20s, he met this girl. He was with her for like 10 years, right? And he was with her first 2 years because he used to compete amateur in MMA. So for the first 2 years, she was all good with it, all happy with it. In fact, it was one of the things that she thought was attractive about him when they first met was that he competed in MMA. He was a badass. And after about 2 years, he stopped competing in MMA. And the reason that he stopped competing in MMA was because she started seeping in these little things like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Anything could happen to you. You know, you could get really hurt and then I'll be left all alone. And then what? What am I supposed to do then? You know, you could get really hurt doing that. So after a while of that, he dropped MMA. He dropped competing, right? And he said, okay, well, I won't compete, but I'll carry on training. He was training at a regular gym. And he was training at an MMA gym. So he was doing strength training and then he was doing combat training as well. So he carried on, right? He carried on training, didn't compete. And then after about a year of training but not competing, she comes out with the old, I don't know why you're training for MMA. You don't fight no more. What's the point? We're spending this amount of money, because they were living together at this point. We're spending X amount of money on this MMA training per month, and you're not even going to compete, are you? What's the point in training anymore? So he stopped training, right? And then she started doing this. whittling away at all the little hobbies that he had, etc., etc., until he had nothing left. And then she found somebody more exciting, cheated on him, and fucked off. Right? They got divorced and he lost everything, even though she cheated. Right? He lost the house because they had a kid at that point. He lost the house. He lost custody of the kid, etc., etc. So, yeah. So recently, I found my peace. I've talked about this. I think I talked about this a little bit in the previous video about Christianity. But the way that I really found peace and happiness in my life was that I embraced my nature, right? I found out what my nature was and I embraced it. And what I had done up to that point in my life was that I had used ideology to depress my own nature, right? Because I believed that my nature was dangerous or harmful or something like that. And like, my nature is, I'm not a good guy. That's my nature. I'm not a good guy. Like, I'm not super criminal or anything, but I'm a dick. Basically, I'm a dick, right? And I spent the vast majority of my life depressing that, impeding that, preventing that, right? Because I thought that it was my responsibility to keep everybody safe from myself, let's say. So I embrace my nature. I embrace the fact that I'm a dick. And what has happened subsequently is that I've come upon the most happy period of my life that I've ever lived. One of the other things that I have really started to enjoy is that I enjoy going out into the wild, right? I enjoy going into national parks or country parks or county parks and spending time in nature. And I'm gonna flip in a photo of me sort of hanging out in nature and enjoying myself. And there's you'll see in this picture that I am sort of sitting under a tree with my foot rested on a tree root, looking down a hill, looking down upon other trees and just generally sitting in peace, sitting in nature and really enjoying it. And occasionally when I sit up there, I could sit up there for sort of an hour, 2 hours. I fell asleep there once. I read up there, I'll write up there, and it's really peaceful, and I enjoy it because I get to sort of just enjoy the quietness and enjoy the peace. I was sitting up there and I was thinking about sort of January and what happens after January, and obviously I'm not going to jump straight into another relationship and I'm not going to immediately start dating afterwards. But at some point I'm going to have to start dating, and I'm kind of thinking that this might be sort of the last one, right? This next one might be sort of the long term one. And I was thinking about, what if I was dating a modern woman and I decided to take her there? And I thought about that scenario and I played it out in my head, and it went something like this. We sit down and the quiet sort of sets in. A few moments go by. And then she turns to me and goes, "Quiet up here, innit? It was until you started speaking. The fuck? Shut the fuck up, man. I'm trying to enjoy the peace." Right? I can just imagine that that's how that goes. And it puts me off dating quite a lot. So now I want to introduce an old world woman, right? And I'm going to introduce a character called Erica from the 1937 film Young and Innocent. This is a Hitchcock film, British Hitchcock film before he went off to Hollywood, right? And I want us to have a look at Erica. I want us to look at her hair and her makeup and her clothes. And I want us to think about how she compares to, let's say, the typical modern woman with regards to how her hair is natural. It's her own hair. It's not coloured. I'm not necessarily against dyeing hair, but it's her own hair. There's certainly no extensions in it. And it looks pretty. Generally and genuinely, it looks pretty. And her makeup is quite similar. It's quite minimalist. It sort of enhances her features. She's quite a pretty girl. It enhances her features. I want you to think about the contrast of that to modern day women and how they have their makeup and how it basically changes their appearance completely. And let's take a look at Erica's clothes as well. What is she wearing? She's wearing a long flowing dress, with matching shoes. Very feminine clothing, right? Not sexy at all, but pretty feminine. Whereas for the modern woman, we know that if she was to go to a ball or something like this, she'd have her boobs out. She'd be wearing something really tight. You could see her bum, right? You could see practically everything. It would be a very short dress, right? So you'd be able to see basically all of her legs. Whereas with Erica here in 1937, very pretty, flowing dress, very feminine. Let's take a look at two clips as well, right? We're going to take a look at a clip that shows Erica's charm and her care.
Where have you been?
We're just snooping around.
I left my papers in the car. Go on, don't get them for me, will you?
Get it yourself.
Well, in the ordinary way I would. If I've seen standing beside that thing, I'd have to resign.
It shouldn't be such a disgusting snob parlor. Besides, it's almost human. You ought to love it.
And will you ask it very politely to move? It's blocking the entrance to the court.
Here I am.
I didn't want you to get hurt. What was all the fuss about?
Your coat. You're quite right. It was stolen. An old tramp's got it, but his two friends wouldn't let him tell me. Oh, quick, put your head under there. Oh, dear. It's awfully difficult.
Right, so we can see from the first video that Erica is very charming, right? Very charming. She's got the banter going. She's got a lot of personality about her. And then obviously in the second video, we can see that she's a very caring individual. And those are very, very sweet, very attractive feminine traits. People appear as they believe. They dress as they believe. They wear their hair as they believe. They wear their makeup as they believe. They wear all the additional extras as they believe. Right? The acrylic stuck to a person's fingers. The feathers on the lashes. All that stuff. This is the personification of their belief systems, right? We know, if we look at modern women, that their belief system is sort of short-termism. It's sex. That's what their belief system is. That their dating strategy is sex. That's their belief system, right? That's why they overcome their feminine with sexiness, right? That's why they do that, right? Because they believe that the dating strategy, the correct dating strategy for them, is sex. Whereas the old world belief is that the dating strategy is to be feminine, right? To show that you offer that feminine nature, right? Which is nurturing, caring, that little bit of charm that we saw from Erica, right? These are feminine traits that are very, very attractive. And in the old world, that was what they represented. That's what they personified. That's how they dressed. That's how they did their makeup and their hair. And in the modern world, as I said, it's about sex appeal. So how does this relate to Misha Petrov? I think that Misha Petrov is an old world gal stuck in the modern times, right? Let's look at the way that she dresses, for example, right? Look at the way that she dresses. Long, flowing dresses. Her hair, natural, pretty, her own hair, right? Her own hair, natural, pretty, flowing, very feminine. Not tied up, scraped back in a bun or a ponytail. Very feminine, long, flowing hair, very pretty. And her makeup enhances her natural look, her natural attractiveness, right? It doesn't alter the way that she naturally would appear without makeup too much, right? It just enhances her attractive features, right? And with regards to my piece, an old world woman like an Erica or Misha Petrov, I believe that if I was to take them to that spot and the piece would set in, that neither of them would interrupt it, right? That both of them would have the kind of awareness to allow the piece to ebb and flow as it naturally would, rather than disrupting it and having to constantly break the silence. In summary, there are many issues with modern women, right? Including attitude, including their belief system, including the way that they present themselves. Old world women are beautiful. Old world women are beautiful in every single way, in every facet of beauty. Physically, they're beautiful. The way that they present themselves is beautiful. The way that they embrace their nature is beautiful. And Misha Petrov, I believe, is an old world woman stuck in modernity. I believe that Misha Petrov is, as the old world women are, embracing their nature. And therefore, because of this, Misha Petrov is a beautiful old world gal. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Let me know what you think about old world women. And I will see you in the next one.